there, folks. This is Sean Bartek. I have another great interview for you. This time we're talking to Matthew Hornor. He's the CEO of Maple Gold Mines. Great project, great company. They're up in a very gold-rich region of Quebec. How do we know it's gold-rich? Because there are other companies around there with big, rich gold mines, and these guys are trying to explore and develop right in the middle of that. So he's going to explain what his company is doing, what their prospects are, and what the plan is going forward. Thank you very much for joining us. Matthew, could you speak to my viewers?
Absolutely, and thank you, Sean, for having me on your program. We have a project in Quebec, Canada, which is one of the highest rated gold districts anywhere on planet Earth. If you were a Martian flying on a spaceship coming down to the Earth trying to extract gold, looking for the most prolific area anywhere on the entire planet, our little neck of the woods would jump out at you, because it's had, just in our region, over 200 million ounces of gold produced already. In the last 7 years, there've been, just to give you an idea, about $7 billion plus of M&A activity in our area already. Mm-hmm. We have on our trend current producers, past producers of very large and small and medium-size projects all around us, as you mentioned. There are some very notable projects nearby. The Canadian Malartic is an analog, we believe, to what we're working on.
One of the richest mines in the world.
High tonnage, overall, a little bit lower grade, but very, very profitable. And that was a project that started out from a retooling or rebirth from an existing, previously operating mine. And they went deeper below it, and they restarted it and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar gold-producing asset. And it's just getting better over time. We have never actually had any mining on our project, so all the ounces are ready to go. And we have on-trend, incredible prospective targets and an existing resource of just under 3 million ounces today. So those are the things we have already. We're sitting on a maiden resource of 2.7 million ounces in the M&I category and inferred category. And we have a plan going forward to further delineate and expand our existing resource, as well as look for regional exploration targets on our very large land package, which is 355 square kilometers. Mm-hmm. 355, not 35, but 355 square kilometers, right where you want to be in Quebec.
Okay. I'm going to tell you a few things I think I know about your company. Feel free to correct me, because I might be wrong, and I speak to a bunch of people. But sure. I heard about this through Shirley Anthony. She works in investor relations for you, and she and I have actually been on a bunch of projects with me, and she's always involved with really good stuff. That's been my experience. So she told me about this great project. Now, this was going to be a mine, but the people who had it ran into some problems. Price of gold was low, financial problems, that kind of thing. So they didn't quite do it. Then I looked into it. You're, as we said, in this middle of this beautiful gold patch with all these other mines around you. You have infrastructure. It's in a very good part of the world for mining. I mean, as far as I know, because I've been there, Quebec is very friendly to mines. So you put those things together, along with the nice grades and all that stuff, this is really, really prospective. I'd actually heard about this project when it was owned by another company called Orvista, and I filed that away and said, oh, that'll be interesting someday. And then sure enough, it comes around on my plate again. Actually, after I spoke to Shirley and I actually looked at this, I actually picked up some shares myself, because you never know with these little flyers. And this one has the kind of potential, that kind of knock it out of the ballpark potential that you really like to see in these small companies. So what important points am I really missing there? What else is going on?
Well, I came to this project 3.5 years ago, and I was working at a company called Ivanhoe Mines for somebody named Robert Friedland.
He is a big name.
So I used to bring him strategic investment dollars from all sorts of places in the world, and helped raise hundreds of millions of dollars in investment capital from strategic partners. And we enjoyed some success doing so. And we were able to bring some new fresh capital in with some fresh eyes from somebody by the name of David Broughton. David Broughton is an incredibly important person. He was the Lindsay Thayer award-winning exploration geologist a few years ago for Ivanhoe Mines project at Kamoa. And I'm bringing these names up, these project names up, just as a point of reference, just to let kind of what mindset I bring to anything.
Okay.
So he and I brought Platreef from where it was undercapitalized. Everyone had looked at it. I helped bring some money in. He brought a new approach to the drilling, and lo and behold, in a matter of 10 months, it went from $500 million to $3 billion from a per share price evaluation perspective. This is in 2009, 2010.
That's a nice move.
And you can see what Ivanhoe Mines is trading at today.
Yeah.
Anyway, my background is working with that large company, for Robert and the whole team. I have still wonderful friends in the Ivanhoe world. And David Broughton is somebody I went to first when I was presented with the Douay Project. Mm-hmm. Because I trust his perspective on exploration and geology. He's an exploration geologist, I said, a very famous one. But I learned in asking them the question when I was approached by the previous group to run the company, I learned that he actually started his career hunting for gold in the Abitibi, right in our district in Quebec. Very nice bonus. I said, Dave, we sat down at a coffee shop nearby my house, our houses, and we went through all the desktop review, and he said, this is great for a lot of reasons. The geology, starting with a resource of 3 million ounces, you have wonderful jurisdiction, infrastructure, you have a skilled labor force nearby, you have the government of Quebec giving you back 37 cents on every dollar you spend in the ground. So on a $10 million spend in the ground, you get $3.7 million back into your treasury, not as
nice.
Back set off or some convoluted treatment of your financings from an accounting perspective, but actually money back, which doesn't happen anywhere in Africa, Mongolia, or anywhere else, or in the United States for that matter. So because of that relationship I had with David, and because of his insights into the Abitibi and the way we approach this project as an investor, looking at the different points and the different boxes that I think anyone should check prior to making an investment into our company or anybody else, I felt comfortable getting involved in the company. So it checked all the boxes for us. Of course, there were still challenges. The project had been around for 35 years, up until that point, 37 years. And it had a tremendous amount of work done to it. There's 240,000 meters at that point of drilling that had been done. And people are starting to understand where the continuity of the ounces were. Now we have an incredible gold tape. We have people now refocused on this area. Our resource estimate was used to $1,500 gold to come up with 2.7 million ounce as our resource. If you use higher gold prices, you get a much higher number of ounces. But we took a very conservative approach with all these things because it makes a difference to only the strategic groups that are coming in and looking at us and looking at our resource. So we did a lot of things behind the scenes that we thought ultimately we think will drive tremendous value for our shareholders at the project level, from how we look at the resource, the conservative approach we take on that side, because really what this company requires is to have a large partner with us as we build things out. And if we're able to deliver that type of transaction, everybody wins, including, most importantly, the project wins. Mm-hmm. Because it's been focused in different areas by different groups. We're starting to get our hands around the larger resource package. Our VP Exploration, Fred Speidel, speaks 4 languages. He's been in the industry for his whole life, 26 years at Inmet and First Quantum. And we've just announced a number of key additions to our team, including Shirley, who you mentioned, is the Director of Communications. Some groups that came from Gold Corp. Timo Juristo was 35 years at Gold Corp. Matthew Lexier, who was with Ivanhoe for 25 years. And we have a number of luminaries on our board as well. And there'll be some more additions in the coming little while, who your audience will see. So we're adding to the brain trust, if you will, to help us think through strategic interest, look at the project properly, and everybody in our team comes from very large mining companies. I know we're, as you say, an early flyer, a penny stock, 15 cents, 17 cents, 20 cents, whatever it is. But we have always been multi-dollar stock, large company, mining company guys and gals. And this is the way we think about this company. Today we're here, but I think the only reason we're spending our life energy working on this project and this company is because we fully expect it to be much, 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 much higher than this.
Excellent. Well, as you said, they're not the kind of people who would waste their time with like some kind of small project. They are thinking big. So this is the kind of project that can get much bigger. What kind of things will we see from your company, say, over the course of the next 6 months to a year?
Most importantly, on the ground, on the exploration side, in the next few weeks, we'll be starting to drill outside the resource area. It's going to be 3,000 meters, already permitted and ready to go. It's already financed. Mm-hmm. We have $7 million in the bank already. We did a financing last month at 17 cents without any warrants. In fact, I've never done any financings that included a warrant. So you'll see some exciting drilling results, we believe, from this fall, this program. And on our website, if you want to go to look at those targets, you can. Look at the Northeast IP target, which is my favorite, but there are many others. The winter program, which for us starts in January, you'll see 10,000 meters more of drilling, regional exploration and resource definition and expansion. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of data and news flow coming from this fall and up until April, May of next year. So it's going to be a constant flow of here's what we went after, here's what the results were, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
Those are some of the things we can control. Mm-hmm. Other things we can't control are other transactions of a larger strategic nature, which may or may not happen at some point. But all I can do is cause us to be as attractive as possible to any potential suitor. And as we become more and more attractive, something may happen. So,
okay, cool. Do you have any plans for a new resource estimate?
Yeah, for sure. That'd be next year, after we include the meters that we're drilling this fall, and the meters we'll drill next year. Keep in mind, our existing resource estimate does not include the drilling we completed in 2020, earlier 2020 this year, in the winter of 2020, which is January to March. And if you see our presentation, you see a number of areas where we drilled and had success outside the existing pit constraints, which tends to add ounces overall. That's how it works. And I invite you to look at that carefully. And if you'd like to ask questions of myself or our VP Exploration about that of a technical nature, happy to do that at any time. So we will look to put out a new resource estimate that include the ounces that or the drilling meters that we've already drilled this year, this fall coming up, and next year. So that'll be a cumulative 17,000 or so meters of more drilling that will be added into that estimate.
Will we see that new resource estimate, say Q2, Q3 next year?
Yeah, in that range. Yeah.
All right. On the existing resource, what's the average grade on that, and what is the cutoff grade?
0.45 is the cutoff, and the average grade is 106, I believe.
Not bad at all.
In the M&I category that we drilled off on the western side, it's closer to 1.5.
Oh, really? So you are finding richer grades as you do more of the exploratory drilling then?
Well, we've been successful in the last drill campaign, 11 out of 14 holes. I think it's probably north of 75% where we hit higher than average grade on the drilling. Okay,
great. What kind of infrastructure would you have on site already?
On site already, we have a fully built out camp that houses around 50 people. All that spend is in the rearview mirror. We have a full core shack and working offices. There's actually a head frame that was put up by a group many, many years ago when they put out a PEA at their project. You mentioned that at the beginning of the call. That they abandoned only because the gold price was low at that time. This is the 90s, and they had another project nearby that they went to that left it available for the Ora Vista group to come in and purchase, which is how we got to where we are today.
No, great. Okay, good. Yeah, I have to say this reminds me of like many projects that were just abandoned for one reason or another back just like a few decades ago, and they just kind of percolate along in the background. You know, they're just not on anyone's radar. But then when things come together, suddenly everyone says, boy, how come we didn't know about this great project? But, you know, other people have been working on it for years, trying to move it forward and like stuff like that. So that'll be really cool. Well,
it's extremely rare to have a project go forward with development and production under under one owner.
Yeah.
Normally it happens over a number of different owners as the markets go up and down and financing is available and not available. That's just the nature of things, and especially in the mining space. You know, I believe that otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here, that at some point will be an overnight success, although we've been working at it for a number of years. And people say, oh, that's an incredible story. How did I not buy it at 15 cents or 17 cents or 20 cents? You know, how did I miss this one? And I think that's the way a lot of these turn out to be. Look at Rupert Resources. I mean, that was trading down at 60 cents, 50 cents, and now it's trading at $4. It had some great drilling and everything else, but all of a sudden it's an overnight success. And I could go on, I could list a number of these that, you know, that are real and some less real, but some are benefited by marketing, some are benefited by hard work. And we're doing the hard yards and doing the hard work with the right team, now capital in place. And the future is in front of us, and we're pretty excited about everything that's yet to come.
Okay. One more thing I would like to do is give my viewers the stock symbols. Could you do that?
Think of MGM and on the TSXV, like MGM Resort Casino in Vegas, but we're in Canada. Very easy.
You need a roaring lion. That's the MGM thing. Okay.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And you are also listed on the OTC. That's where I bought it, and I will get the symbol for my subscribers. I'm just blanking on it, and I can't remember the exact symbol for that right now. So that about wraps up my questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
No, I think you capture. I think you mentioned that there's some Japanese viewers. So to them, I say, "Korekara yoroshiku onegai itashimasu."
Excellent. All right. Good way to close. Thank you very much for speaking to my viewers. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Another great stock that most people don't know about, but you're getting the scoop on it. So stay tuned. I'll have more for you. This is Sean Broderick for Gold and Silver Trader. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.